placed. The doll's sudden appearance, and even more sudden disappearance, reignited the case like dry wood catching fire. For Miriam's family, the news was devastating. The doll had been her constant companion, handmade with love by her mother's hands, and for it to surface after 9 long years was both a sign and a wound. If the doll had survived, who had been keeping it? And why choose to display it so publicly, as though tempting someone to recognize it? The family's grief was stirred afresh, their hope shaken. Her mother could not sleep for days, replaying the image of her daughter clutching that doll as she walked down the dirt road for the last time. The community, too, was rattled. The Amish are not easily swayed by outside rumors, yet the reappearance of the doll was undeniable. Some whispered that it had been left on purpose, a cruel reminder, perhaps even a warning. Others believed it was Miriam herself, sending a silent message through the one object most tied to her childhood. Authorities, skeptical but pressured, began opening old files, questioning whether they had overlooked something all those years ago. Still, the truth remained hidden. The doll had surfaced just long enough to remind the world of a girl who had vanished, and then, like Miriam, it was gone again. Only weeks after the doll's sudden disappearance from the flea market, it appeared again, this time under eerier circumstances. In a thrift shop 2 towns away, tucked on a low wooden shelf between discarded children's toys, the doll was unmistakable. Its faded blue dress, its hand-stitched body, and that peculiar red thread seam gave it away instantly. The shop owner, an older woman with years of experience handling second-hand goods, later told authorities that the doll had been sold to her by a woman she did not recognize. According to her account, the woman had walked in quietly, avoided conversation, and placed the doll on the counter as though it were something she desperately wanted to get rid of. When questioned, the shop owner described the seller as thin, pale, and nervous, with a voice so low it was barely audible. She refused to give her name, paid in crumpled bills, and hurried out of the store without looking back. Something about her demeanor unsettled the owner. It wasn't simply that she was shy, but rather that she seemed terrified of being recognized. The entire interaction lasted less than a minute, and yet it was enough to etch itself permanently into the shopkeeper's memory. Once the doll was identified, investigators were called immediately. They examined the stitching, the fabric, even the stuffing inside, hoping to find DNA or a hidden clue that could finally reveal what had happened to Miriam. But the doll yielded nothing. It was ordinary in every way, except for the undeniable fact that it was hers. The unsettling question remained: who had been carrying it for nearly a decade, and why did it keep resurfacing in places where it could be found? It almost seemed deliberate, as though someone wanted to remind the world that Miriam's story was far from over. For Miriam's parents, the doll's return was agonizing. When it was placed back into their hands, her mother wept uncontrollably, clutching